Hi, I'm Tom Field with Information Security Media Group. I'm talking about tackling the phishing problem, but from the federal government perspective. My pleasure to welcome to the studio Aaron Higbee, co-founder and CTO with Cofense. Aaron, thank you so much for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
So I want to talk to you about some of the phishing trends that you're seeing now, but also the differences between phishing that you see or scams in the workplace versus those that you might see from your own home.
Oh yeah, you know, a lot of people think they know what phishing is because they see these scams in their personal lives.
Right.
But they're quite different when it comes into the workplace. The attackers are adept at using themes that they know an office worker would likely fall for. So you're going to see phishing themes with things like fake invoices, fake purchase orders. You've missed a voicemail, click here to listen to the recording. And the attackers' goals primarily are to gain access to the network and then maybe information if they can get a foothold in.
So again, I said that we're going to take a look at this from the federal perspective. What are some of the unique challenges that the agencies face?
Well, you know, they interact with so many other departments, and all of them have their own cyber challenges. And I think what's problematic for a lot of them is if one of the partner agencies is compromised and those phishing emails are coming from those email accounts. Traditionally, you're taught to look out for the sender. If you know that sender, don't interact with it. But it becomes a challenge when that sender is the one that's sending the phishing emails.
Now, Aaron, one thing I think is interesting and unique with Cofense is you went for FedRAMP authorization. Talk about that process and why you went for moderate as opposed to low level.
Sure. So, you know, we are a cloud service provider. The way that our software works is we simulate real phishing attacks to give those employees experience in identifying and reporting them. So it's not something that can be ran on a traditional internal network. We talked to our federal customers, and we were surprised, and we agreed, though, that moderate was the right control, because when you think about it, we have essentially a map of every individual's behavior inside of an organization and their propensity to either fall for a phish or avoid a phish. So that information would be ripe in the attacker's hands. And so the 300 plus controls for FedRAMP Moderate really makes sense for the type of service that we offer.
Now, you and I had a chance to talk before we sat down here, and one of the points you made was that technology is failing us as an anti-phishing solution. Talk about that a bit.
Well, we've been investing in it for years, and there's this idea that maybe if we build a better mousetrap, we'll be able to predict what the phishing tactics of the future are. But if you really study phishing tactics the way that we have, what you're going to see is that the attackers focus on avoiding a detection. And they do this by packaging their malware in different ways, by obfuscating their URLs in different ways to avoid automated detection. And so that's why we rely on human intuition to click these report phishing buttons when someone gets a suspicious email.
Talk to me a bit about the Cofense solution and how that can empower agency employees.
Sure, absolutely. Well, you know, people sometimes say in information security that the human is the weakest link, but the humans actually have an innate ability to see something that's suspicious, that feels wrong. So what we do is we marry technology with humans by first exposing humans to what real phishing looks like, empowering them to report a phish through our phish reporter button, and then tooling for the security teams to make sense of those reports to find the phishing emails that made it past the secure email gateway.
Now, Aaron, you chose a cloud-based solution for the federal solution as opposed to on-prem. Why was that?
Well, the phishing attacks originate from outside of the internal network, and we feel it's our mission to mimic this threat as true and as accurate as possible. And so we didn't think it would really be a good summary of what a phishing email is if it originated from an internal server.
Excellent. Aaron, I appreciate your time and insight today. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
Been talking with Aaron Higbee with Cofense. For Information Security Media Group, I'm Tom Field. Thank you very much.